Can I eat it now? Already a bit cold already, but hopefully I haven't spoiled it. Previously on the Best Chicken Rice, we ate some great chicken rice in Malaysia and have just touched down in Bangkok. And our first stop is the most famous chicken rice in all of Thailand, Goang Pratunam. Some of you may know of Goang when they opened in Singapore, which is an audacious move to make. You enter a market selling their national dish. Hopefully there's a good reason for it. And what we notice here is no sauce. No sauce is crazy. I'm very curious how this tastes, and the most special thing about this is tau jiu, which is very convoluted because Hainanese chicken rice is a Hainanese dish, but the use of tau jiu is arguably Teochew / Hainanese. But the flavor profile of this, the way they have seasoned it, is unmistakably Thai. So let's give this a go. The audacity to bring the fight to where the competition is the hardest. Even if you did make a very good chicken rice, why do you want to make things harder for yourself? And more importantly, where did the confidence come from? We talk about the good parts. Good rice, flavorful, oily, aromatic. The rice grains are very plump, very whole, preserved very well, and is significantly sticky. Scooping up some rice, it already feels like chicken rice balls. That texture that it makes in your mouth, very glutinous, very spongy. We've been through this many times. You choose the texture of the chicken rice you want. This is not something that I want, but I see the appeal. Seasoning a bit sharp at times, but forgivable. The chicken rice goes very well with the sauce, the tau jiu. So inside here, I see garlic, I see lemongrass, chilies, and obviously fermented bean paste. The flavor profile is very comprehensive. You have sweet, salty, savory, sour, spicy. This is the equivalent of a very well mixed hot pot sauce. But that's the best thing on the table. What was the idea behind the chicken? I was thinking maybe it's some invincible flavor, maybe some sprinkling, maybe some oil, but it's really served as is. This is really boiled chicken. When you bite into it, there is nothing to help it. You are left alone square and center with the chicken. This is not too different from the gym rat's meal. Perhaps the idea was to help it with the tau jiu, but I think the chicken should stand on itself a little bit first. However you want to spike it, the sauce comes later. Not only that, I was wrong. I said something like 3, 6, 12 chicken rice, we won't find a tough chicken breast. This is overcooked. Thai, chalky chicken breast in this series? Okay, I cannot talk to all. I'm gonna kick out. One thing is that I'm confident this is a tourist trap. There are no Thai people around me. Well, we soldier on. We will find a good chicken rice at the end of the day. I'll see you guys in the next stop. We are now at Korkai Chicken Rice, another place recommended to me by you guys, and I got Thai meat. I tried to order drumstick and breast. I want drumstick and breast. Nong ok. Cup. No. But it didn't work out. We also got the signature fermented bean paste chili. I think this should be a standard here. And then radish soup, a soup that I really enjoy. Let's give this a go. I'm suddenly reminded, and I can't believe I didn't mention this at the last place. We are in Thailand, home to some of the best rice in the world. So far in the series, you have been split between Li Li Fen Ming and something that's more sticky. This is somehow both. You can see how each rice grain is so nice, the integrity fully intact, but as I poke the rice, you look at how it behaves as a clump. So when you scoop in, there is that spongy feeling as the rice grain all comes together, but at the edges you can still feel each rice grain. As you chew, the rice grain has its individual body. I'm not sure whether it's the quality of the rice grain or is their skill level in cooking this, but one of the more impressive textures so far in the series. Flavor wise, it's very well balanced, very easy to eat. No super strong hit of savouriness or fattiness or aromatics, but just a very balanced addictive flavor. Chicken is cooked much better, thankfully. And I was wrong. They did give me breast meat. Here you can see it's still pretty juicy, cooked well. But instead of drumstick, they gave me thigh meat. You can see the oyster around this part. The soup, I was also wrong again. It's not radish. It's some sort of gourd. Feels like lao huang gua, but could be a cousin. I still like it nonetheless, although it's a little bit too oily for me. You can see the top layer of oil. And then the fermented bean paste chili is again very nice. Although if you were to ask me to differentiate it from the previous place, I will not be confident I can. However, I will be able to differentiate this and Singaporean chicken rice. I don't buy the idea of leaving the chicken alone to fend for itself. There is no sauce, barely any seasoning that goes into the cooking liquid. It is a very pure boiled chicken flavor. And it's not that the chicken is particularly high quality. It's like staring at this very unadulterated chicken flavor in the face. And that's not particularly nice, even for somebody who enjoys chicken. On the flip side, if you're going with the fermented bean paste sauce, then all you taste is the sauce. Because obviously this is not a subtle sauce, this is very strong. This is not a miss, but this plate also comes with the chicken blood curd. We also had it in the previous place, and I don't enjoy it. It just tastes like a tofu with too much iron. I would much rather just eat tofu. And it's not about the off flavors because I enjoy both gua and kian, chicken liver and chicken gizzards. But decent. This one I think if you have it in a random hawker center in Singapore, you won't be mad. Some of you might even enjoy this chili, but I have saved the best for last. So let's go over there. We are now at Muek not too far from where we were. I have it on good authority that this might be the best one in Bangkok. It's already showing itself. Some sauce with my chicken. Interestingly, they have two things on the menu. One is a Singapore chicken and one she said was the Thai chicken, which here it writes 3 breeds of chicken, so some sort of crossbreed. I'm also tempted to think that is San Huangji, although it's not that yellow. In any case, I'm very glad to see sauce again. Chicken looks incredibly cooked. The color of the rice already looks flavorful. They have 3 sauces, 2 of which they say is Singapore sauce, and then the signature Thai one. But more importantly, I got upsold. They have this chicken liver premium, which she says
today I have a pro level go.
Ah, okay.
That's only last one.
They open at 10, it's now 10:10. So I don't think it's their last piece. Kinda the oldest trick in the book
This one my last one.
不要就没有了. But I don't think I'll regret it. It kind of resembles foie gras at this point. But anyway, let's try it. I was ready. I was ready to go home already. The first toast chicken rice with the no sauce chicken, I have to admit my expectations weren't high coming into the third place. But this is not just the best chicken rice in this video. It's one of the best I've ever had. I didn't get to try the sauce with the rice. I accidentally finished it. If you are in the sticky camp, this is the gold standard. The rice grain is so big. It has swelled up so much from the moisture, and yet the grain, again, is so nice. This is a common theme across all 3 chicken rice we had. It is a very unique texture of being sticky, clumpy, yet having all the grains intact. Normally when you have this in Singapore, the grains are broken. It all becomes a bit like 粽子, rice dumplings. But here, if anything, the texture of rice is impeccable. The flavor really balanced, really inviting. My criteria of being able to eat the rice forever, this strikes that criteria. I ate it too fast. All 3 sauces, good quality. I particularly like that their scallion oil seems to be bruised, not blended. It has very visible chunks. But the thing that stands out the most, or rather the second most from the previous spots, is the chicken. I want to argue that having a bit of sauce on the chicken is not subjective. You don't want the extra flavor, but you do need to season it a little bit. Serving boiled chicken is, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little weird. Here they have quite a bit of sauce, but the sauce is very light, does very well to bring up the chicken. The chicken is cooked very well, and we haven't seen this for a while, but jelly. We say in the earlier episodes, jelly is not the be all and all, but it is an indicator that the chicken has been rested adequately, such that all the dissolved gelatin has the chance to congeal back together underneath a layer of unbroken skin. And the chicken itself is flavorful. It has that same flavor profile as kampong chicken, and yet tender. I don't know how they crossbreed this, but this is a good chicken. And despite all of that, these are not the most impressive things. I said this is one of the best chicken rice I've had. The liver is undisputedly the best liver I had. It's literally chicken foie gras. Super creamy, super melt in your mouth, and yet that off flavor that you normally get with chicken is subdued very well. I don't know how they process this, but the cook is so nice. You can see like there's shades of pink, and yet it's all cooked through. Butter, chicken cream, my goodness, what a liver. Soup is just a pleasant soup. I taste a little bit of veggie sweetness, a little bit of chicken, a little bit of pepper. Not outstanding, but does its job. While it's been a while since something like this happened, I have no misses. This can be served in Singapore and instantly be top 3. Or am I saying that too fast? Even things like my preference for Li Li Fen Ming, while this is clumpy, like I said, you can still feel each grain. So I say again, what if the winner is not from Singapore? I'll think about it. I'll see you guys at the cafe. We are now at Stockroom, a short walk away. Pretty big cafe. I got their house blend. Can this be better than what we had in KL? Not really, no. But anyway, what a hell to heaven 0 to hero video. We started with quite possibly the worst chicken. Dry, overcooked, no seasoning, no sauce. I was ready to argue that it's objectively wrong. Like humans fundamentally prefer protein with a bit of seasoning. It even got to the point where I was in the hotel room thinking like, if they really serve chicken like this, right, I will have no choice but to bash Thai chicken rice come the end of the video. Come this point, the summary. But Muek just proved everything wrong. What I wanted, 70-80% chicken, 20-30% sauce, they did it to a T. Chicken flavor still very present, dressed with a light sauce for a little bit of moisture, a little bit of oiliness, but more importantly the seasoning, giving it a base taste. Which, speaking of base taste, even if you are to serve the chicken without sauce, the broth that you cook it in needs to be seasoned pretty heavily. Because if you're cooking the chickens whole, the chickens are very thick, you really need the seasoning to permeate. But let's move on from the bland chicken. What is more interesting is Thai Hon Mali rice. This texture, I don't think I had it yet. For the rice grains to be so whole, and yet it all comes together to be so clumpy. A very good texture for those of you looking for this kind of sticky rice. I like the Thai chili sauce with the chicken rice. It is not what I would prefer, but I perfectly understand the appeal. Very comprehensive sauce, it gives a lot. And across all 3 places that we had it, none of them were bad. If there is one characteristic I would say of Thai cuisine, is that they really know how to season to a kick. But to the best thing I had this video, the chicken liver from Muek Gai. Normally in Singapore, when we have chicken liver, it's usually simply boiled. There is no accompanying flavor with it. Here, I want to think there is some sort of marination. The off flavors has been subdued a bit, and it does feel like there is some sort of base seasoning penetrated through. It reminds me a little bit of Jing Silai's liver, in the sense that it's a very cheap cut, but proper handling will make it taste so much more. You give me that plate of chicken liver, and a plate of expensive foie gras, I have no preference between the two. By the way, chasing a piece of liver with the soup really opens up the flavor even more. What a banger! This journey just gets better and better. One plate I'll work for the chicken rice, 2 plates I'll take a bus for the chicken rice, and 3 plates I'll go anywhere in the city for the chicken rice. And the chicken rice today gets 1-3. The best case scenario is that at the end of the overseas arc, every country will have one contender, which I can tell you these first 2, the Regent and Muek Gai, with my experience growing up in Singapore, definitely can compete with the best we have. But that said, these 3 countries are the 3 countries that arguably adopted the chicken rice into their national cuisine. It is not strange for a Singaporean, Malaysian or Thai to eat chicken rice 2 to 3 times a week. However, like the first few words I said in this series, not all countries adapted it whole. In some others, it evolved. There is a country where the chicken rice does not look the same anymore, but the dish that has now become a regional specialty, national pride even, very likely to have taken inspiration from their Hainanese neighbors. You all know which dish I'm talking about? Welcome to Hoi An, Vietnam. As some of you might have guessed, we are here for Khao Man Gai, the Vietnamese chicken rice. This is a dish that is beloved by the local people, such that within the same country, there are different versions. Does this dish have links to the Hainanese chicken rice? I bet yes, because Hainan is like somewhere over there only. You could shout the recipe across if you wanted. The chicken need to dip 7 times, stick up 8 times. But all that's for next week. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!